call to order. Can we have the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item in our agenda is approval of minutes. Assuming everyone has had a chance to look at them, are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve in a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Public input. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to be heard? Welcome, Mr. Mechanic. No public input. Let's move to action items. 2A, Resolution 2018-0906, approval of a third one-year extension to the operator's agreement for the Tinker Line streetcar system. Ms. Reyes?
Yes, good afternoon. Ms. Reyes, HART Chief Operating Officer for HART. Staff is bringing before you the request to seek the recurring approval to renew the one-year option on the streetcar system contract. This one-year extension can automatically roll over, but traditionally we have brought it before the board for your approval to renew. And so that is what staff is seeking to do this before October, to become effective October 1st.
Any explanation of what that is, or is everybody comfortable with what we do?
Move to approve.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. 2B, Resolution 2018-0907, approval of proposed fiscal year 2019 HART annual streetcar operating budget in the amount of $2,514,578. Ms. Zambella?
Mr. Stewart?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Has the additional funding been secured from all of the CRAs already? I see it's not the 450, but it's the.
Did you want to start though?
You now go. Answer the question.
Cindy Zambella, I'm the Director of Budget and Grants for HART, and I'll explain that particular line, but there was no securing of an additional 150 per CRA in FY19. What you see in the line under that tip is actually an increase for the in-towner that was going to be reallocated or repurposed from the in-towner operation to the streetcar. So now I can talk more about the budget in general. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, and so as far as the additional funding that we received this past year for free Saturdays, I have had discussions and presentations with all of the CRAs, and what we're doing right now is we are going back to each CRA with proposals on what some additional funding would do, knowing that, not to put too fine a point on it, but we don't need that funding for operating for FY19. But there still is an interest. As an example, YCDC actually wants some scenarios on if they could contribute $15,000 to $20,000 to $25,000, what exactly could they get for that funding? And I have a proposal that I'm getting ready to put into a letter to their chair now. So a couple of the CRAs, what I promise to do is after we get the new service rolling in October, is after the first quarter, we should have some really good ridership statistics, and then go back to them and we'll be able to show them not only what overall ridership has been, but where people are getting on, people are getting off, and be able to give them some true analytics to be able to determine what would be in the best interest of their CRAs, providing any additional funds for next year. So it isn't that it's off the table, it's just that we're taking a baby step approach to it. I'm going back to YCDC at the end in October with the options for additional advertising dollars. But that's why it's not in there. There wasn't a real need to have to go after the funds, so we're trying to work with them on exactly how to best invest those funds.
Yeah, my concern was that their budgets are not finalized till October, and we're approving a budget predicated on getting a certain amount of money from them.
And go.
Well, each year we get $450,000 from the CRAs, and that has been
It hasn't, actually. One year, EBOR went from 150 to 100,000. So sometimes it does change, and it's subject to annual budgeting, so.
Well, Bob, we have gone to all the advisory boards.
Okay.
And
I'm just concerned about we're passing the budget on the assumption that it's there, and if it doesn't come to fruition, then do we come back and modify the budget?
Yes.
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 Yes, but each of the three CRAs said yes to the 150.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they said yes the first time we talked to them.
Yeah.
The extra 50, Jeff is right, you know, we kind of backed off a little bit and said we'd like to have that extra 50. There's a lot of things we can do with it, and they said, well, we would consider giving that to you, but we'd like to hear, and Abby can probably best articulate the Channel District downtown CRAs, but we kind of got the same reaction from all of them, which is if you want the money, and given the fact that you've got a pretty big increase in funding, then you need to let us know what you're going to, you know,
Yeah, because this is what, 230,000 per CRA, not 150, not 200, but for $676,000 is what I'm showing as a line item.
Cindy, you'll have to explain that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what your
so
number
there's
is.
additional funding. In fact, so the $226,000 that is increased
the
over
downtown.
over 18
Okay.
is for the in-town funding that has been usually billed to the city of Tampa every year for the support of the routes 96 and 97. When we discontinued that service,
Right.
the agreement was that those funds would be repurposed or reallocated or channeled into the streetcar.
Right, thanks to Mr. McDonough, actually.
So that got budgeted in that City of Tampa line. We could have put it somewhere else in the budget, and kind of explaining that to the City of Tampa budget person, Susan Gobble, explaining to her that I could have put that somewhere else. Maybe we can certainly go back and do that, but that's what that increase of the 450 is demonstrating.
But this budget does not include the other extra 150.
No, it doesn't.
That's because the numbers didn't add up in my
I know.
head, and that's what was confusing.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
So this does assume the 450,
Oh, yeah,
but not the
extra 50.
Correct.
And Bob's point is that that budget hasn't been passed to get the 450, to approve the 450, is that right?
Right, and we're in the same position every year. And it's the same thing with the HART budget.
Okay, there's a lag.
We're anticipating revenues, and if we don't see those revenues, then we're obligated to come back to the governing body to amend the budget
Okay, so we do
accordingly.
this every year, so.
Yes, it's
Okay.
the same timing.
It was the downtowner money or the uptowner money that was confusing, because we've never seen that before,
The in-towner money, correct?
right?
I know there's uptowner, in-towner, downtowner. This is in-towner money.
But we are happy to see that money.
Very.
So today, before the board for consideration are actually two resolutions, one in B and C, or two B and C. If it's the pleasure of the board, we can talk about them together. Essentially, the first resolution is allowing or asking the commission to adopt and approve a streetcar budget for the HART Board, for the HART operating of $2,514,578,000. And the second resolution, Resolution 8, is a resolution approving the proposed Tampa Historic Streetcar corporate budget in the amount of $978,578. So what I'd like to point out is that the numbers that are before you today are those numbers that were presented to you on July the 18th. They did not change. If you look at, and I'll kind of point out on the attachment 2, where you'll see the City of Tampa and the City of Tampa and the TH contribution in the FY19 proposed. That amount has gone up essentially by the 226. So the difference between 18 budget and 19 budget is the $226,000 that is allocated from the in-town. So that's why that number changed. The budget itself increased by $534,910, and the reason that THS corporate budget doesn't change much every year. It's fairly consistent. In FY18, it did increase by the $150,000 extra amount, but in looking at the 19 budget, we actually got about $100,000 more of non-ad valorem assessment. So that's why when Jeff says we really don't need it, it's because non-ad valorem assessment went up. We also got FOT funding, so the necessity to collect the additional money from the CRAs based on the service model proposed for 19 was not necessary at this point. Should we want to reconsider a different service level, then we might want to go back to the CRAs and look at additional funding.
Okay. Indeed, Jeff?
Just add. It's sort of strange someone else giving the numbers and I'm talking about the operating side. You're going to get these handed out. I know you've seen these before, but I think it's important to reiterate again publicly of what this budget is going to provide for in FY19. And again, it's a 75% increase in service over what we have seen in 2018. Starting October the 7th, we're going to be running from 7 to 7 with 15-minute frequencies, from 7 to 11 with 20-minute frequencies. Friday, again, 7 to 7 with 15-minute frequencies, and then 7 to 2 a.m. with 20 minutes. Saturday, we're going to be running from 8:30 in the morning to 2 a.m. On a Sunday, it's 8:30 to 11 p.m. And the weekends will be 20-minute frequencies.
Could you provide us copies of those?
And they're
there.
being provided now. And again, this service will begin on October the 7th. I will tell you that beginning October 3rd? The 30th, September 30th, we will no longer be collecting fares. It happens to fall on a Saturday, then a Sunday, and then new service. So there's no sense, we're just going to wipe out fares for that first week.
Cool.
Those would be surprise free fares.
I mean, I could be honest, still collecting it, but we are not going to have any fare boxes or anything else. It'll be free.
Can we get these electronically so we can
Yes, sir.
disseminate them, please?
You can.
Good idea.
A question. I think, Jeff, you mentioned this earlier and it didn't register with me. You're removing the fare boxes from the streetcar?
Yes.
I mean, is there a reason to do, I mean, it could be 3 years from now, we'll be needing to collect fares.
So, yes, and that gives us the opportunity, for one, to move forward with our electronic fare collection system. And two, they're antiquated, no pun intended with antique streetcars, but those fare box technologies are antiquated. We would need to be replacing them anyway in the future. So this gives us the opportunity to look at some, and it's not as if we're not discarding them. TVMs, on the other hand, is a whole other subject. We have removed every TVM. I got the report today. All TVMs up and down the streetcar line have been removed. Some of those will be going, hopefully, to Texas, to a transit agency that desperately wants them. But the strategy is, if in 3 years we have to start collecting fares again, we should have our e-fare system set up at Flamingo, as well as our smart card. And there was a plan anyway, prior to the FDOT providing us this funding, that we were going to start to phase all that ticketing equipment out anyway. So this is, and we just installed, and I know I had explained this to a few folks that asked the question, we just installed our Flamingo e-fare equipment on the streetcars. Well, we're pulling all that off, but we're going to use that on our buses, on our other vehicles, as well as backup for equipment that goes down. So it isn't a loss. We're going to utilize those assets.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? We're voting on 2B. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Let's move to C, Resolution 2018-0908, approval of.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. That's it. Streetcar system report. Mr. Allen?
Good afternoon. In August, we unfortunately ended our long winning safety streak by having crossing accidents, one on the 8th and one on the 10th. Both were the driver's faults. We were not cited in those. And then on August 25th, we had a split switch incident where some debris got caught in one of the switches up at Centro, and one wheel of a streetcar went one way, one tried to go the other. In FDOT's world, this is a derailment, even though nothing derailed, but we had to report it anyway. There was also no damage for that. These 3 incidents, though, accounted for 13.25 missed trips for the month. On-time performance, we had 2 late departures, which accounted for a 99.9% OTP for us. Provided 5.5 hours extra service for 1 concert at the Amway, and we continue to have strong wheelchair boardings. We're averaging right now about 50 a month.
Good.
And that's going to certainly increase as the free fares come on board. And we got the 3rd new car out with air conditioning that month. So things are progressing. The Bernie car, we have a contractor on board, very skilled carpenter who helped with the restoration originally. He's on board. He's making the material for us. The roof's off the car right now, and it's getting ready to get the exterior painted on. So that project's moving along. We have 2 of the 7 motormen have graduated, and the other 5 are now on OJT with us. They're expected to graduate the Friday before we start service. So, getting a little close. And then, if you probably noticed, we've got stations 1, 3, and 4 in Ybor repainted. And we put new logos on all our map cases throughout the system. And another long-standing project that's getting underway, we've got a notice to proceed for the contractor to put the large door on Bay 4 downstairs so we can get everything during the hurricane season.
That's great.
So, and then finally, as Jeff said, all the TVMs were removed today. The whole fleet also has the automatic passenger counters on them, and we're having them verified by our service planning folks. Anybody have any questions?
I do, but go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, I wanted to add a couple things. One, you notice we revamped the performance report, a little more detailed information for you to have each meeting. Secondly, I wanted to give a shout out and props to Brian and the Streetcar crew. I made the comment yesterday downstairs that probably for the first time that this building has actually been constructed, it is truly going to feel like an operational transit facility. It's almost, what, 20 hours of occupation and work will be happening downstairs, something that hasn't occurred before. Our new operators are coming on board. The Bernie, if you get a chance to swing downstairs, it's not pretty, but it's progress, and that's all I'm looking for right now is progress. I talked to the woodworker yesterday, working really hard on the Bernie, so it is a work in progress. I also wanted to say that we had a little event yesterday for the Streetcar crew. They're really working hard to get ready for the 7th, working on the Bernie, the rehabs that are working as far as our air conditioning units and the cars themselves. So, oh yeah, you can throw the picture up, it's fine. We took some pictures. But again, we're really proud of the work that Brian and the crew is doing. There's a picture. I cooked hot dogs and hamburgers downstairs yesterday for them. We are really excited. I mean, I know as we sound like a broken record, but we're really excited about what's going to happen with the Streetcar next month. It's a long time coming, in my opinion, and we're going to do everything in our power to make this a viable commuter service in the city of Tampa. So that's my update.
Very impressive. And you gentlemen are comfortable that you're on schedule?
Yes, we're cutting it close, but we are on schedule.
I'm sure you are.
Wait, schedule with what?
Your grand reopening.
We will have an update now on that, won't we, Ms. Brooks?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
12th, we have prepared a grand ceremony that will start at 9 and end at 10:30. We're going to have the Hillsborough Community College Jazz Band to do a couple of selections for us. We are also acknowledging and appreciating several of community members. One of them is the former Mayor Dick Greco, who has been a longtime streetcar champion as well as public transportation champion. President English, FDOT, and Secretary Gwynn will be on board to speak, and also our very own Mr. Seward will be receiving an appreciation. So we hope that all of you can join us. We will actually have a ribbon cutting, and we have some surprises that I don't want to share just yet, but we're going to invite all of you that join us to also take a ride on the streetcar after the ribbon cutting. We will have light refreshments, and it is just going to be an awesome event. So I would appreciate all of you being there and helping us cut the ribbon and celebrate the not grand opening, but the new era of the streetcar.
And what's the date on that?
October 12th, it's a Friday, 9 until 10:30, and we will be sending out the invites electronically tomorrow.
And the invite list is long. And it's long and hopefully comprehensive. And if there are individuals that you would like to have invited specifically to that, if you could let us know, and we will ensure that they are on the invitation list.
We had a chance to discuss this before the meeting for a few minutes, and I'm really hoping, Bob, that Mayor Buckhorn would be willing to not only come but kind of open the ceremony. I think he and Mayor Greco would enjoy that both. So I'm just telling you, so when you hear about the request, you know about it.
And we have already reached out to
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice report. Chair, Legal and Legislative, Mr. Matthews.
I have nothing new to report.
Okay, thank you. I don't really have a chair's report. Mr. Seward, any further report from you?
I've given mine, Mr. Chair.
Great. Ms. Gage, any advertising revenue news?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. So for the first time, we are completely sold out of advertising on the streetcars.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's through the end of the year. And so we also have a shout out to Brian here because we are adding to his workload as we continue to need the cars to put ads on and take them off. So Brian's been a great help there. We've got this villain thing at the convention center, the tattoo thing that's happening. City in Pink, we're working with, Vanessa's working with the city of Tampa. We're going to brand one of the streetcars for that program. And the free fares, we've had end panels on some of the cars, and then we're working with the marketing department on doing some banners for the stations to promote that. The Lightning is back on board. Metro PCS is coming in October. Foundation for Transplants was kind enough, they were supposed to start in September, but they postponed until November because that's how tight we are, struggling trying to find spaces for advertisers. Cigar City said they already want to commit to the first of the year, so that's all very good. We also worked with Signal Outdoor. Jerry Presley was looking for impression numbers at the stations because we're going to look, we continue to talk about trying to brand those stations or get sponsorships, people to sponsor those. So we work together with Signal because we don't do stationary, we do transit numbers, so that was nice. And last month, or the last time we met, President English, you asked about rates. And one thing I don't think I was clear on, we do have the same rates on the streetcars that we do on the buses. Buses, we negotiate the rates, which is more of what the market will bear that I mentioned. We never negotiate rates on streetcars, so you are always getting top dollar. But based on the new hours and hopefully the increased ridership, those could be ways that we can readdress the rates. We're almost at the end of the year, so perfect timing.
That's great.
Any questions?
Just a small scale heads up. The Downtown Partnership told me this morning that they would like to do the Winter Express again.
Oh, great.
Which would mean a wrap and hopefully support from our board. It was really successful last year, and they're doing some things that will make it even more fun for kids. So don't wrap every car over Christmas because you'll need one for the Winter Express.
Okay, I'll put it up there.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions from anyone? Any comments? Patty?
Lori, I just wanted to say thank you for your involvement and your contribution for the City in Pink. I think Lori touched on it, but we are wrapping a car in pink and doing quite a few things through Crew Tampa Bay and Jeff Stewart's help and assistance and guidance. So thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nice report. Compliance reports are here. Any questions on any of them? Any further business? If not, this meeting is...
legal report?
There was none.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we're good. So thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned. See you next month.